You're about to see a few pictures of my big giant face, so for that, I apologize up front. Okay, I'm Steve Wood. I'm from West Hartford, and I write the website ConnecticutMuseumQuest.com. And as you can see here, in 2010, Connecticut Magazine deemed me Mr. Connecticut. And I'm about to spend 4 minutes and 45 seconds trying to convince you that that's A, good thing, and B, it's a fun and rewarding experience to get to that point. So I said fun. Writing for me is really fun, and visiting places and experiencing new things is kind of what I do. People seem to like to read about it. Most of those people look like this. That's my core constituency, but I'll take it. So Connecticut's an old state, and it's got a lot of history. There's a lot of layers of history, and I like to peel back those layers and connect the dots through time. So obviously the history of a place like Satan's Kingdom in New Hartford has an interesting history. But the more recent history of the town purposely misspelling the roadside signs so people stop stealing them all the time, I find just as interesting. So notice subtlety when you're out there. There's a lot of things out there. Take the time to check it out. You'll be rewarded. Connecticut has about 700 museums, believe it or not, and I've been to about 250 or so. And I can tell you, take it from me, the best museums are the ones that you've never heard of, that are a singular passion of one person, such as this one, which is in this guy's basement in Wallingford, the Dave Peters Train Museum. Everyone always asks me, how did I get started doing this? Well, this is the sign that started it. I used to see it every day about 7 years ago, and I wondered what the Industrial Museum was. Nobody from New Britain even heard of it, let alone visited it. So, of course, my brain makes me go to those things. So I went, spent about 2 hours with these two older guys, and who devote their retirements to the enjoyment of the history of New Britain's industry. And their passion for that sort of wore off on me, and I decided I had to visit every place like that around the state. But my site is not just about museums. It's more of a humorous and educational travelogue about everything in Connecticut. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Every oldest, every first, every largest, every winery, every brewery, every cheesemaker, every petting zoo. I hike every trail, I go to every state park, and I write about it all. People kind of enjoy it. And I spend time with the people who are invested in these places too, which obviously makes for a better story. Usually. Not all the time. Like last year for charity, I tried to go to every geographic extreme in the state of Connecticut in one day. That's the northern, western, southern, easternmost points, the highest point, the two terrestrial tri-points, the biggest lake, the deepest lake, and the largest lake, or the highest altitude lake, and also this, the smallest federally recognized Indian reservation in the country, which is in Trumbull, the Golden Pawcusset Hill Indian Reservation. So obviously there was a lot of driving that day, and I love all of our 169 towns, well, except for one, and that would be Basra. Anyone here from Basra? Does anybody know anybody from Basra? Anyone ever go to Basra? It's sort of my whipping boy town. But people always, not always, sometimes I get hate mail from people who don't understand that I'm just kind of joking. A lady from Enfield wrote to me recently, was very upset that I made fun of Enfield. And I assured her that I have nothing against Enfield, that if she read more of my site, she'll find that I make fun of southern Fairfield County towns way more than I make fun of post-industrial tobacco Connecticut Valley towns like Enfield. All right, so what's my point? I have a few actually. First, just go out there and just do stuff. There's tons of stuff to do, no matter where you live. Spend some time, look what's around you, check it out. Look under every rock, both figuratively and literally. When you're doing it literally, watch out for our native rattlesnake population. Next, stop complaining. I know Connecticut is congested, but believe it or not, there's a lot of beautiful spaces very close to our cities and towns and highways that you can get to very quickly. This one's Sleeping Giant right outside of New Haven. It's a lot easier when you go before dawn. There's no traffic then. Next, explore your own backyards. Take out a map, look at it, look closely. Guarantee you there's stuff within a couple miles of wherever you live that is interesting that you haven't been. This museum is like a mile from here, a Ukrainian museum. Next, talk to people. People are pretty awesome. This guy's Dr. Zaintz at the Haddam Shad Museum. You may not know that you like shad. Spend an hour with this guy. You'll love shad. Shad is our state fish, by the way, and he's sort of responsible for that. Quick 15-second aside, I don't have any ads on my site. I don't seek ads. I don't seek paid writing or speaking engagements. But a funny thing happens. When you do what you love, and you love what you do, and you do it for fun, and you do it pretty well, those opportunities sort of come to you. And I've been fortunate that they've come to me. It's not my business, so that's not a business plan, but it works out for me pretty well. And that's pretty much it. I invite you to check out the site. Look for the most boring thing you can find on it, and I promise you it won't be boring. Let me know if it is. I'll try to make it not boring. And thank you for your time.